I'm Daisy Hidalgo. My main claim is participation awards are harmful to the youth and will set them up for failure. I'm sure everyone here has received a participation award of some kind when they were younger, whether it was a medal, trophy, or on paper. When you were little, it's not that clear to why you're receiving it, but you accept it anyways. In your minds, you are giving something that sets you to assume you deserve it regardless of the outcome or effort. However, as you get older, you realize that in reality, whatever is given to you is the result of your hard work, how hard you work. We should decrease the amount of participation awards that are given or take them away as a whole to benefit children in the long run. Participation awards will fail to teach children necessary life lessons. Understanding the difference between success and failure, the sooner we face a loss rather than be awarded for trying is more beneficial than winning immediately. Everyone encounters failures in their life. It's how they react and action they take afterwards that builds themselves as a character. Stanford research Carol Dweck, who has been studying child's coping and mechanisms for over 40 years, shared kids who are praised for their effort rather than their ability tend to strive harder, enjoy activities more, and deal with failure and more in a better way. Participation awards create false expectations to children that everything will be handed to them. Nothing in life is going to be handed to you. We begin to expect awards and praise just for being there. I'm positive everyone has heard the expression, "Don't applaud a fish for swimming." Fish, they're supposed to swim, that's what they're supposed to do. Why should they be applauded for something they're supposed to do? That goes to the participation. Just being awarded just for being there, it won't get you anywhere in the future. Individuality would lack tremendously. It harms the perspective on competition. When it comes to school today, the competition is even harder than ever being compared to everyone else. High school, college, and students of any kind are fully aware of this. Children now are going to be being less prepared for being awarded just for participating. It is about ensuring they are prepared for the future and all the hardships when things go unplanned. It undermines children's ability to be able to be successful on their own. It gives them false entitlement. Children alone, people are owed absolutely nothing. When those participations stop being given, they're not going to do well with the result. Carol Dweck also stated, too much praise may lead to less resilient children. Acknowledging children's everyday achievements will likely have negative repercussions on their motivation to work toward them. It shouldn't be encouraged. Praising kids should be encouraged when it is due. There's a lack of ambition to work harder. If you're already being awarded on solely efforts, why work harder to do better next time? We need that reality of a loss to be used to encourage us to continue till we are where we want to be. Children now will take longer to get that drive and motivation to be better and will struggle when they are hit with the harsh reality. And I'm done.
It's not only win or lose, it's how you play the game. Someone on the bench.
Okay, Daisy, the proposition is identified. It does have multiple parts to it, so we need to simplify that. You say it's harmful and it will set them up for failure. I think you could probably just leave it as harmful. Set them up for failure could be one of the secondary points, and you don't need to have it in the proposition. The secondary points, though, are not very distinct. It's not quite clear. I do think there is one that talks about setting us up for failure, that people are going to have these false assumptions about what's going on. But I don't know that all of this information is organized in any way. It feels like it's just random observations that sometimes mimic those particular claims without necessarily proving those claims. So I think you need a little bit more structure during the, especially in the preview, but also following up on those points when you get to it. There's a lot of theory involved in what you're presenting and a lot of assertions about the impact that's going to place on people. You do have two quotes, basically from the same source, that talks about how this is going to create, false expectations and how kids are going to be programmed for this kind of easy life. And the authority that you cite, I thought that you did a good job citing who that authority is and why we ought to be listening to them. But it is, in essence, very conclusionary. There's no statistical data to support this. We don't even get particular examples, only get hypothetical examples on these kinds of things. And it seems like that would be one of the things that you could look at, especially from a historical point of view. If these participation awards have become so ubiquitous in the recent past, then maybe people were more successful in the past. Let's see if there are some examples of that being the case. People who they didn't get the participation award and they strove for greater excellence, and there's a consequence whether they became governor, president, head of a union, cured cancer, whatever, something along those lines. If we had an example that was a real world example, it would be easier to relate to. You're kind of relying on abstract hypothetical examples, and that makes it more difficult to decide whether or not a real issue exists here. Gesundheit. You ran into the little bit of the problem about presenting using the phone. When you got it figured out, it was not too bad, but you just still have a tendency to try and read things on the phone that are hard for you to see, and even a couple of times it seemed like you just kind of skipped by the word or phrase because it was difficult for you to get through. The story I was going to tell is that my son-in-law decided he was going to do his vows from his phone during the wedding ceremony. And he ran into that same issue, and as he's standing up there, he says, "Worst idea ever." And I'm fuming, going, are you talking about marrying my daughter, or are you talking about your asshat decision to read out on the stupid phone? So technology is great, but I tell you, if you're going to use something, use a tablet or a laptop, something that's big enough to see. Trying to do it from a phone while you're standing in front of people, it's often a recipe for disaster. All right. Thank you.